What's going on, guys? This is ICG Captain Nick Chan coming at you with my Plunder Patrol deck profile that I managed to get my invite with at the Hartford, Connecticut Regional. Now, originally, I wasn't going to share my list, but I had so many people reach out to me saying how much they saw that I was having fun with the deck and how well the deck was doing throughout the day at the regional that I felt that it was okay for me to share my list. However, I am not going to share the side deck currently because I do plan to continue to play this deck and I want to make further changes to it, but I also don't want to show everyone exactly what my side deck looks like because I don't want people to know how to counter me. Uh, Now, with that being said, I do want to point out that this is not a top 8. This was just an invite. However, check out my matches. It was 4 Spirals, 1 Hero, 1 Salamangreat, 1 Lunarlight, 1 Subterror, 1 Invoked Mech. Now, I did lose to 2 of the Spiral decks and 1 Invoked Mech. However, I feel that I should have won one of those Spiral matches and the Invoked Mech. However, I made the judgment. I made the bad judgment call of how to play out the matches, and that's why I lost. It wasn't because of the deck itself didn't actually give me the line of play because it was there. I just didn't take it. I chose the wrong one, and that's what cost me the match. But as you heard, I took on all meta, no rogue, and literally this deck was just overperforming throughout the entire day. I was able to break every spiral board except one, and that's only because I opened super subpar, and my opponent drones and gave me a trap card that was not helping me. But it is what it is. Drones is a really good card. Now, I'm sure you don't want to hear me keep on rambling, so I'll get into the deck profile and try to explain things as I go. So, first off, let's start with the monsters. We got Whitebeard, the Plunder Patrol Helm. Now, he is arguably the best monster in the deck just because of how good of a card he is. When he goes from the monster zone or your hand to the graveyard, you can special summon another Plunder Patrol from your deck that is a different name. However, you can only special summon Plunder Patrols for the rest of the turn, but it's okay. You can play around that very easily. So obviously, you have to play 3 Redbeard, the Plunder Patrol Matey, to make sure that your Whitebeard stays live at all times. When he goes from the monster zone or your hand to the graveyard, he can target a Plunder Patrol on your board and equip himself to it. It doesn't seem that relevant right now, and it seems really bad. But trust me, it'll sound really good when we get to the rest of the cards in the deck. And then they both have the same effect, where during the opponent's turn, I can activate their effect to special summon one Plunder Patrol monster from the extra deck that has the same attribute as a monster on my opponent's side of the field or in their graveyard, and then equip them to it. Like I said, it's going to sound way more relevant about the equipping part later. But that effect is super good, especially for the fact of, say, they have a spot removal card like Unicorn. When they try to go for that, you can chain out with the Plunder Patrols to make that entire interaction completely useless and neg them on resources compared to yourself. Now, as you can see, we are also playing the Danger Package. Right now, obviously, we only have 4 cards that are available for the main deck, so we need deck thinners, and what is a better engine than Dangers that can actually provide the deck thinning needed to be able to see your Plunder Patrol cards so you can play the game. So, we play 2 Mothmen, 2 Tsuchinoko, 2 Jackalopes, and then your one-ofs is Nessie and Bigfoot. All, like I said, deck thinners, free bodies to help break boards. It's just the entire package that's needed, and it's so good in this deck just because of how many discard outlets this deck has. So you are always advancing your game state. And then we have a small Perfamage engine, which again just was doing so well just for how many discard outlets this deck has, and especially the Hat Trigger. If you're not familiar with this card, because I know it's been a while, if there are 2 or more monsters on the field, does not matter who controls them, you can special summon him from your hand. And this is a hard-going second deck. You blind it, doesn't matter. So the chances that your opponent is not playing out at least one monster on that board is very, very slim. So he becomes such a good extender to play before you get to your Whitebeard and need to lock yourself into Plunder Patrol cards. Same thing with Damage Juggler, such a good discard outlet. Same with Trick Clown, obviously. Okay, and then we got the spell lineup. We have 3 of the field spell. This card's amazing. It's way better than even Orchestrated Babble. It has 3 effects. The first one boosts all my Plunder Patrol monsters by 500 attack for every face-up Plunder Patrol card in my spell and trap card zone. So, as you can see, the equipping part matters because they all count towards that plus 500. And then its second effect, I can discard 1 card from my hand to then search my deck for any Plunder Patrol card. Like I said, easy way for discard outlets, so the Perfect Mages, the Dangers become so good with this because it just gives you 2 resources for the price of 1. And then the second effect, when it's in your graveyard, even if it was sent there that turn, you can target 1 face-up Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap card zone to return it back to the hand to set this card back to the field. So, again, infinitely better than Orchestrated Return. And that's saying something when you're better than Return. Not Return, I'm sorry. Babble, blah. Okay. Anyhow, like I said, we're a hard-going second deck, so we need the board breakers. Like Mind Control. Did very, very good. Steals the Griffins when the Spiral board is making the Nightmare Griffin. Or it steals the Appaloosa. So they can't actually use Sleeper Effect to just destroy everything. Or it just baits out the Trigate. Obviously, we're going to be playing other board breaker cards, so just any 2 board breakers can break the Spiral board. And then we have 2 instant fusions. They'll just... I'll explain the points of this card later when we get to the extra deck. And then 2 Lightning Storms in the main deck. This card was amazing. I just kept on seeing it and it just helped so much. I need to shout out my 2 friends, Mitch and Nick Montoy. They were kind enough to lend me the Lightning Storms for the event because I've been so busy I haven't had time to actually pick up the cards myself. And so thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate it. And then rest of the cards, Desires and Allure. We need to deck thin. We need to find the Plunder Patrols so that way we can play the game. Until you see the Plunder Patrols, you're not really playing the game. So we absolutely need it. However, we're playing still a small danger lineup, which is why we're only playing the 2 Allures. And then, obviously, for the control matches, we need the Twin Twisters. It also comes up sometimes in the Spiral matchup. Just because you can discard this in the Bigfoot, immediately get rid of the Resort, get rid of the back row, and then discard the Bigfoot to then pop the last Resort, so that way you can take care of that Sleeper, and it just wipes out the whole board right then and there. And then your other one-ofs is Terraforming and your Monster Reborn. The Monster Reborn was so good. One of the Spiral boards tried to do Appaloosa Griffin, so I used Lightning Storm to wipe out the board, and then I Monster Reborn the Griffin to turn off the Sleeper and to get rid of his last resort and just completely destroy his board from there. Unfortunately, I made a bad mistake, and that was one of the games that cost me the whole match. Okay, so that's enough for the spell lineup. Trap cards, we only play 2 in the main deck. Obviously, like I said, we're a hard-going second, so we need evenly match. Now, bear in mind, I barely saw this card the entire day. I think I only saw it against the Salamander Great player and the Lunar Light deck. Everyone else, I saw more Lightning Storm than anything else, which is fine. Like I said, against the Spiral deck, you literally only need to see either 2 of either the evenly match, the Lightning Storm, or the Mind Control, and normally you can break the board before you even commit really any resources to the game. And then the last one is Plunder Patrol Booty. Such a good card. It pretty much makes sure that you can grind out with any deck just because it targets 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field, changes attribute for the turn, and then I can choose to special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from my graveyard, or I can cycle it back to the deck. So it keeps your resources handy, and it makes sure that you can always get your interruptions back on the board. So even if they got rid of it during the turn. And then the extra deck, we have 3 of the Xyz, Moek, and then 3 Brawn. Now, they relatively do the same thing, where they both discard 1 Plunder Patrol card from your hand to target 1 effect monster or 1 spell trap card. The Synchro targets the spell trap card, Moek targets the monster, and it banishes it, and then Moek will search the spell trap from your deck, and Braun will search your Plunder Patrol monster from the deck. So they do relatively the opposite thing. The only extra thing that they do besides that is unique to them is that when if your opponent tries to destroy a Plunder Patrol card while Moek is on the board, you can detach instead. So it has a Dingirsu protection effect. And then Braun can boost all other Fiend monsters on the field by 500 attack points. So having 2 of them on the board can really start adding up the attack points to attack over everything. And then you play. I play 2 Blackbeards. The third seemed unnecessary. This is arguably the best card in the extra deck just because this plays so well through so many things. So it has a quick effect that you can target 1 effect monster on the field, including itself, special summon a Plunder Patrol from your extra deck, and then equip the target monster to the Plunder Patrol monster you special summon, and then you can draw a card. So it deck thins, it lets you summon a new interruption, and it lets you just keep on playing the game. And it helps to OTK sometimes, because if they already have a fire in graveyard, you can target an effect monster after attacking, and summon the Brawn to add extra damage to it. And then we have the best card from 2017, Sea Monster Theseus. So the major part about him is that he's a level 5 tuner. So you can use him and your Danger Tsuchinoko or your Jackalope to then make to make Brawn. That way you can sorry. That way you can immediately have access to a Plunder Patrol card even if you didn't see one. So you can immediately make Blackbeard to get your plays going. Sometimes it actually does come down to actually just hard making the Xyz or the Synchro to actually get going, just because, some days you just don't see it, but it's okay. We play other things like the Mud Dragon in the Swamp and Thousand Eyes Restrict. To be honest, I never summoned the Thousand Eyes. The Mud Dragon and the Sea Monster is the only thing I was really summoning. The Sea Monster, not Sea Monster, the Mud Dragon is really good just because you can change its attribute to whatever. So, say if you're taking on a control deck, you can special summon the Mud Dragon first off of Instant Fusion, change it to, say, Dark, just because you're pretty positive there's probably a crackdown or something on there, say from the Guru player, because that's honestly what happened. He set 5 pass, I Instant Fusion Mud Dragon changes to Dark, reveal Bigfoot, special summon the Bigfoot, and then and he actually did have 2 crackdowns down, and because I used I changed Mud Dragon to Dark, he couldn't target the Bigfoot, so I was able to swing in some damage in there already. So his effect honestly does come up where you have to actually change the attribute. It also makes great protection against the Spiral Sleeper because he already naturally water, so you can already summon your Plunder Patrols without worrying about everything getting blown up before you even commit to any type of play. And then we have one Dingirsu. The Synchro Brawn is level 8. So you can summon 2 of these, or you can use one and the Bigfoot to actually make the Dingirsu to remove something and then protect the rest of your cards. It didn't come up at the event, but it did come up a lot in testing. But I was also, at the time, was playing the Chupacabra and the Thunderbird, so that might be why too. And then next card, Light Dragon Agnista. This card's low-key really good. So easy to make. It's just 2 level 4s. And then if your opponent tries to destroy any of your monsters by battle card effect, you can detach from it instead. So also has the Dingirsu effect. He also has the effect where you can detach one to then destroy as many cards on the field up to the number of at Ignista monsters on the field So he's only going to pop one, but it doesn't target, so your opponent has to respond to it, or else he's going to get rid of whatever the problem card is, even if it's even if you can't target it. And then obviously we need the utility cards. We have Phoenix, we have Unicorn. I don't think I really have to explain them. So that's the entire profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, by all means, I'll probably respond to it. It may take me a little while because my life is pretty busy at the moment, but I promise you I will get back to your questions about the deck if you have it. With that being said, I'll catch you guys later. Shoots.